It is my pleasure to introduce our convocation speaker. She is one of the most incredible jurists in the state of South Carolina. Judge Aphrodite Kondorus is a member of the South Carolina Court of Appeals. She currently serves as Vice Chairman of the Chief Justice's Commission on the Profession, a member of the South Carolina Senate Judiciary Sentencing Reform Commission, Subcommittee Chairman of the Supreme Court, Family Court Docketing Committee, a member of the South Carolina Bar's Vulnerable Adult Task Force, a member of the South Carolina Bar Pro Bono Board, and Lawyers Helping Lawyers Board. She is also the 2013 recipient of the American Board of Trial Advocates Jurist of the Year Award. She was elected to the Family Court in February 2002, and on February 6, 2008, Judge Kondorus was elected to the South Carolina Court of Appeals to finish the unexpired term of Chief Justice Donald W. Beatty. Judge Kondorus served as an adjunct professor for the Charleston School of Law for many years and was awarded an honorary doctorate in 2016. She and her husband, Sam Kondorus, live in Greenville and Seabrook Island, South Carolina. She is also the daughter of Big Jim Carvelis, who it is said never knew a stranger, and Christina Carvelis. And we have a joke between us, and that is, we ain't doing too badly for two Greek girls from the South. So, without further ado, my dear, dear friend, Judge Aphrodite Kondorus.
Thank you so much, Professor Anastopoulos. It's wonderful lawyers like Professor Anastopoulos and her husband and my husband Sam, who's also a lawyer, that gets y'all where y'all can pronounce Greek names. Dick Harpootlian told me one time it was very important when the first time he ran for everything because he had 20,000 bumper stickers made up and his name was never misspelled again. Okay, the light is terrible, so I have to hold this up. I'm sorry President Bell's not here. It's a well-known story that I met him when he was 15 years old, so I do know where all the bodies are buried. Dean Cunningham, members of the Board of Advisors, respected deans and professors, distinguished guests, and the graduating class of May 2022, I bid you a fine day. I know that when Professor Cunningham recognized family and friends, I didn't hear y'all, so let's hear you now. I know I join all your children and relatives and husbands and wives for thanking you for the tuna fish sandwiches and the late night phone calls and everything else it takes to keep a law student going when they are learning to speak that foreign language of law, and not quite as much as Father West did, but we do appreciate what you did for all these wonderful people that are here today. I am honored to address you today, most particularly a few of you who I did teach and who I'm pleased to see amongst the righteous. Congratulations to you, your family, and friends. I believe I speak for the whole dais when I say it feels like yesterday when we all graduated, and our joy is not abated. I love what I see in your faces, and I do applaud your efforts. You're privileged to have earned your law degree in the long shadow cast by my favorite South Carolinian, John Rutledge. Among his many accomplishments, he was president, then governor of South Carolina, Chief Justice of the United States, and a delegate to the Constitution Convention of 1787. There are those from Virginia that I don't hold with that say that Madison had more to do with the Constitutional Convention than John Rutledge, but Madison was the scribe, so I think he wrote his name in double, and I don't hold with that. John Rutledge brought to the Constitutional Convention the idea that jurisprudence should not just be founded on English law, but should contain American law. What American law, they said? Well, being well-read, like all Charleston lawyers like to think they are, he is said to have read lengthy tracts to the Convention of the Law of the Six Nations, an Iroquois treaty begun as early as the late 1400s that contained these words: "We the people, to form a union, to establish peace and equity and order. Tell me that's not good research to find that in a 1400 Indian treaty. I expect that from each of you, and you should expect it from yourselves. And now comes the litanies of do's and don'ts that is so prevalent to every commencement speech. So while most of you are still sober, listen up. Guard your reputation. You can lose it the first week you practice law. Do not lie. Do not even fudge the truth. Speak truth to power. Wear your big girl panties or big boy panties or any other memorable cliche that means don't sell yourself short. There are 10,000 people in your profession in this state alone, almost 13,000 now, that you can call before you make a rookie or a late life mistake. If you don't know what you're doing or you feel trapped in a situation, pick up the phone. You can reach your faculty, you can reach judges, you can reach other lawyers. Please do that. The old maxim that he who represents himself has a fool for a client is true. It might not be as bad as you think, but you might make it worse trying to fix it by yourself. Don't get me started on your generation's compunction to post everything. Should I say that again? Okay. No one wants to pay a large retainer to someone they can Google and see wearing a hula skirt and Groucho Marx glasses. That's probably exactly the thing that got them in trouble in the first place and not what they are looking for in their lawyer. Number 2, be kind to your family. There is enough misery in the average household without your bringing home some from a file cabinet full of cases at work. I'd rather you go to the gym than happy hour, but I know that's not going to happen, before you go home to decompress. But I can't say what works for you, but find what does. Compartmentalization needs to come early in your career. According to the canons of ethics, you are a lawyer 24/7, but you are also a human being, and regardless of the bad lawyer jokes, the two are not mutually exclusive. As my husband, who is a lawyer, knows, and definitely President Bell, who knew my mother only offered me 2 words of advice, but repeatedly. Be sweet, be sweet. When the chips are down, your family is your rock, and your clients are business. Number 3, know the bailiffs by name. Every lawyer in this assemblage, from everyone on the dais to all the faculty, and Dean Cunningham on down, knows this to be the greatest tip I can give you. The edge between victory and defeat can be razor thin, and never forget, bailiffs, court reporters, and judges' secretaries know everything. Be nice to them, which is a variation on my mother's be sweet. Check on each other. We are all part of the legal coral reef. You will live and die together. I went through my graduating class of 1984 list of classmates in preparing my remarks, and I realized I'm involved or talk in one way or another with 33 just about every month. And that was a long time ago. And I don't mean Facebook. I mean I am in touch with them. I know what their voice sounds like. I see their face on FaceTime, for crying out loud. Your section and your study group were there for you, and you must continue to be for them. That means seeing them and talking to them, not just sending them funnies. Texting is not talking, in case y'all missed that. My law clerks, I have to remind them. Maintain an eager mind, read everything. As my students know, the advanced sheets come out every Wednesday from the Supreme Court, no later than 10 a.m. Get in the habit of stopping and reading immediately what the new law is in your state every Wednesday. Stop and read them because your judges are, and it is a bad day at BlackRock when the judge goes, how did the case that came out yesterday morning at 10 o'clock change your entire argument and is going to prevent you from winning? Explain that to me, young man. And if you haven't read it, it's tough. You feel like one of those cartoon characters that turns to liquid and just pools on the floor. Read bestsellers, periodicals, listservs, bar publications, your CLE materials, anything. It comes back to serve you well. It may be the difference in sending away a great case or keeping a bad one because you never heard of that subject matter. Last one. As part of the charter of this fine institution is the idea of giving back. I was just pleased to hear about that 38,000 hours. There are so many more opportunities for you to work through your state and local bars, wills clinics, Meals on Wheels, and such. Find out what you like to do it for a while, and then try something else. Never stay with something so long it becomes a chore. Somebody else is delighted to do it, you need to do something else. Accept today that practicing law is hard. I wouldn't give 2 cents for a lawyer that doesn't have a pad and a pen on the night table to write down some winning point that percolates up through his or her brain in the middle of the night. It can and will consume you because the law is a jealous mistress. The theme I'm trying to put through is balance, but it doesn't sound like it to this point, and I get that. Unfortunately, to maintain balance, sleep is going to suffer, but you learned all about that in law school. John Wesley said, "Do all that you can, by any means that you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you can." If that's not a recipe for sleep deprivation, I don't know what is. But your law school skills will help you with that, and you're going to be expected to do everything and be a family participant and keep up with your social life and buy your mother a Mother's Day present and be over-prepared for every hearing. There's no magic to offer you. I just chuckle and say, good luck with all that. You've made your bed now and you must lie in it. It's a silly metaphor, but as you've all found, and the fastidious can explain, there's a big difference in just pulling the bed covers up and making the bed from scratch. One looks terrible and one looks great. It's a metaphor for life and certainly for the practice of law. Start over every time, get it straight, check your briefcase, check your folder, check your argument, check everything. The old adage from law school was 3 hours of prep for every hour of class. I know you've all slacked off on that, but dust it off for your first 5 years of practice. I can hear and feel Dean Abrams nodding his head. Our former Chief Justice Plakonis quoted the great law professor Bernard Metzger in an address which I really liked. If you have learned how to disagree without being disagreeable, then you have discovered the secret of getting along, whether it be business, family relations, or life itself. You are joining a profession. This is not a job. They don't call it practicing law for nothing. You stand for and with all other lawyers. Most clients only have one case in their whole life. You will be their touchstone for what a lawyer is for the whole history of their family. Your work will reflect on me as I reflect on you, and I expect you to shine. To your families and friends present with you today, I thank you most heartily again for your personal and monetary sacrifice. I know what it's like to live with and love a law student. I married mine. I cannot tell you it's going to be any easier to live with a lawyer, but on behalf of the Court of Appeals, I welcome family, friends, and the new graduates to the profession. I can assure you it ain't going to be dull, and I will remember you all in my prayers. Good luck.